Welcome back to Dubbzi Bricks for another episode of Building Gotham City in Lego. And there are going to be some massive changes to Gotham City in this update. Now, in the past week, I've had my sister and brother-in-law visiting from the UK. So apart from showing them around the Lego room and what I'm building, I haven't been out in the Lego room. And that's been really good because it's given me a chance to have a good think about Gotham City. What I'm happy with, what I'm not happy with, or want to change, what I want to improve, and all things like that. Now, when I was in Dublin, I popped into both the Lego stores up there and I saw the new Arkham Asylum set, which I loved. I thought was really, really good. Maybe a little bit on the small side and lacking a couple of characters, but all in all, I thought it was a good set. And it is one that I will purchase in the future when it's come down in price and there's maybe a decent offer on with VIP points or a good gift with purchase. But yeah, it's definitely on my list of sets to purchase. But it got me thinking about my Gotham City but it got me thinking about my Arkham Asylum. And I've never been happy with the rock work that I've done over in the back corner there. It's too straight. It looks like just a rectangular box put there with rock effect on there. And even the rock effect, I'm not 100% happy with. So it was something that this week I was going to be working on and amending. But after seeing that set, it just made me want to make an Arkham Island again, which was, as you'll see from this image here, one of the original plans for my Gotham City. Now, this image is from my original Lego room. It's how I originally visualized it to be. And since then, we've moved house. We've got a much larger Lego room, a much larger table, so we can build a lot more Gotham buildings. And I've always struggled with how I want this city to look, and hence it's changed so many times and it's changing once again. The docks are currently down the end here. They were at one stage down along this edge, then they were along this edge before ending up where they are now. But what I'm considering doing, or what I think I am going to do, is bring them back down this end of the table and put them right over the back there. A little bit deeper than where those arches are. I will also have a waterfront along here. So this entire corner will be the sea. And I'm then going to build it right in this corner here, Arkham Island with the asylum on the top of it. So there's still going to be plenty of room behind there for the boats and whatever else. Along this edge here, I'm thinking about having the Joker's Fun House and Ace Chemicals. I think that would look really good. And then as you go further back, then you start getting into the city with all of the skyscrapers. So you no longer have the waterfront all the way along this edge. At the moment, I feel like there's so much wasted space within the city. I mean, if you look at it at the moment, from this edge here to the raised platform, you've just got one building covering probably about 3 large grey base plates. So I'm not utilising all of the space. I just feel like I could do a much better job with the whole city. So the plan is at the moment, the raised platform will stay pretty much as it is. I don't want to disrupt that at all. It's just this area here. So I'm going to start off by moving this area here down to the far end and dragging the docks down here. It was quite easy to do last time, so I'm hoping it's going to be just as easy to do this time. All of the buildings are freestanding, so that's really good. I'm glad I went down that route. So I can just lift them all off here, place them on the raised platform for the time being, amend all of the mills plates, move those 2 structures I've just mentioned, and then we can start rearranging the road layout and then put the buildings all back where they're going to be. With the bridge, I'm not sure where I'm going to put that. It's definitely going to be in Gotham and it's definitely going to stay looking as it is as well. I'm really happy with that. I'm just trying to work out whether or not I can put it at a slight angle across here just to give it a little bit more character. So that is something that I do need to look into and work on. Obviously, it being at an angle does make it hard for like the structure down there because obviously you can't build at an angle that easily. But again, I'm sure there will be a way for me to work around that problem. Anyway, without further ado, let's start moving all of these structures and yeah, let's get moving the docks and the weighing terms, etc. And I'll check back in once I've made a little bit of progress. What have we started? It's a little bit of a mess here at the moment. So we've got the buildings all up on the top just there. On the floor here we have got loads of base plates. The bridge had one slight accident, but that was only a little bit of a raised platform area, so that's not a big deal. But what we are going to be doing now is detaching the back of the docks area and then sliding that all the way down and over into that corner. This section here is already to be slid down and I've just got to work out how I'm going to get one past the other. in the move, and then we'll go from there. And we've had a little bit of a disaster here, but it's only a minor one. I needed to move the Penguin's submarine pen. It just wasn't in the right place. It needs to go down the other end of the docks area just there. So I peeled it off. The building came off quite easily. It's in one piece over there. However, the base plate that was on, that was connected to another base plate, and yeah, it's just all come apart. So what I need to do now is just put the new base plates in the correct place, connect them all together, redo all the framework, and then we can get going with putting everything back on top of it. So it shouldn't take too long to do. It's quite a simple process. Normally I get done very, very quickly. Also on the back here, we had some 48 by 48 base plates, and I wanted to narrow the gap, so that's gone down to 32 by 32s. So once again, we had to strip all of those off. But yeah, we will get there. I'm just hoping that we've got enough room just here for the actual water and the island. I could potentially reduce this even further by putting the 16 by 32 base plates as opposed to the 48. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a think about that. Again, it's quite easy to do. All I do is just slide this right over to the edge so this is hanging over, peel the base plates off, put the new ones on, and job done. So let's start off by getting this all tidied up, and then I'll check back in once I've done so. And what a mess we've made just here. It's, yeah, complete carnage at the moment, but we have rebuilt the docks area here. The underneath of this is completely different than before. I've put a lot less support pillars in there. I've literally halved the amount in there, which is really good because it means I've got a whole load of 2x8 plates spare now, and I'm going to have a load of the 2x2 bricks as well, so that's all good. It's going to come in very handy elsewhere within the city. Now the submarine pen is just down here, and I just got to work out how I'm going to have the wall coming along here before I start going along that section just there. But this area here is starting to look really good size wise for where we're going to be putting Arkham Island and the boat, etc. And here we have the submarine pen, and it's all been rebuilt as it's the opposite way round to how it was before. On the top here, still got a lot of work to do up here. I have started putting the wires in on this section just here, and the road has been put back down in certain places. But so many pieces in the way, I thought might as well get this bit all rebuilt. And down here, I'm just doing a Mills plate at the moment, which is going to have the iceberg lounge on here. Now, the iceberg lounge, I'm going to have it so there's 2 floors. Going to have a nice tidy looking facade at the very top there with a walkway that goes across the raised platform, and then a more darker version down the very bottom there along an alleyway. So I think it could be a very good look once that's all finished. But anyway, let's carry on with the Mills plate, and once I've got that all finished, I'll turn my attention back to the top of the docks. A little bit more progress made to the docks area just there. I've started putting the roads down, and I started putting the wires in. Still got a little bit more work to do on that, but we have reversed everything from how it originally was. So the olive green and light bluish grey Falcon shipping warehouse down this end was the other end, and the nougat building that's here was down that end. So it has caused a little bit of a disruption on there. With the roads, I've literally just flipped them upside down, and then it's enabled me to move them to the opposite side without having to rebuild them, so that's all good. But what I want to turn my attention to now is mapping out how we're going to have the island on the front of the city here. Once I've done that, I can then start putting all of the black and blue plates all down, and then start doing the sea effect back on top of them as well. So I'm thinking about having it possibly from about that point there going along right on the corner here. There's only going to be between 6 to 8 studs of water around this edge. There's no necessity to have any more. I don't want it to be rectangular either. I want to have it a lot of character with it. So we're going to try and put as many shapes into it as possible. But I'm thinking that the area that I'm going to have here is around about 3 times the size of what it would have been had I left it in its original position. So that's the plan at the moment. So let's get the slopes out. Let's start mapping it out, and then I can get those plates down. And I'm going to put my hands up and say that I've made a complete mess here. My vision, or what I thought I was going to do, just hasn't worked. It just looked absolutely terrible. So now it's a case of trying to salvage my city out of the complete chaos that I've created. And I'm going to put the docks back down the other end again, which is really frustrating. I really wanted to bring them down this end, but the problem I've got is the island here is too dominant on the docks. The docks are too low compared with the islands. I mean, I've only got the building here. Arkham is going to be even higher than what it is at the moment, so it needs something more prominent behind, and I think the Wayne terminus behind there would be better than having the docks there. So back to swapping those back over, and then once I've done that, then I can start rearranging the other parts of the city and trying to work out how it's going to go. I'm thinking the bridge is going to go back to where it was. I think that's still going to work out well. So we're going to be going back to having water along the front there. So yeah, this is really, really, it's not soul destroying, but yeah, not far off of that. But yeah, anyway, we'll sort it. Mistake made, lesson learned. And it's another day in the Lego City, and I must admit, I walked in here, my heart just sunk this morning. I thought, what have I done with my Lego City? I have destroyed it for nothing. However, it's not for nothing. With Lego, this is one of the things I love about this hobby. You can do something, if you're not happy, you can try again. It's not always going to work. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, because you can just put it back together, and that's what we're going to be doing. I have, though, however, come up with what I think is going to be the solution that I was looking for with this, and it's all to do with Arkham. I wanted an island for Arkham within my Gotham City, and we can now do so. And it's coming down here by the end of the docks. So docks have been slid up that way by at least 2 grey base plates, maybe a little bit more. The bridge is going to stay where it is, going across. It might have moved down a fraction, I'm not sure just yet. But that is the current plan at the moment. The Joker's Funhouse, I'm thinking about putting here. And then that entire area behind it can be used for Ace Chemicals, and also for any additional funfair rides that'll be around the Joker Funhouse. So I just need to build a wall on the side of that and do a little bit of repair work. The train track does come out a little bit onto the next base plate, so I do need to take that into account. Then when we come down this way through all the carnage, the tidy part of the city where all the skyscrapers are going to be, etc., will start around about here and go along. I'm going to change this entire area. There was way too many roads. We have the sloped road coming down. I want to put that somewhere else where I think it's going to take up less room. And yeah, we'll hopefully find a good solution for that. I'm also hoping that I can sort the train line out as well, the raised one on here, so it's more effective going around the city. But yeah, looking forward to having a really good tidy up today, getting the roads all mapped back out again, and also getting the island rock work put in, just sort of like outlined. So try and make this look a little bit more like the Gotham City that we actually want. And here we have a rough outline of the shape of the island. I've just plated around the edge of it. I'll go around with some grey wedge plates once I've tiled over the top of this, and then we'll get the final shape in there. But really pleased with the size of that. Originally, I was going to be going for about 3 times the size of my original area, but I think it's probably more like just twice. But again, it's still going to be plenty of room for Arkham to go on there. Now, what I've started doing down the end there is I'll start putting things back together, like the sloped road going down. But I'm still not convinced that the sloped road is the best way of getting to the raised platform there. I'm going to see if there's another place to put it. I have got one idea, which I'm going to try. And yeah, we'll take it from there. It would be good to clear that space up. But one thing I am considering doing is moving all of the buildings I've got here just down to the bottom. Just try and map them out, give me a rough idea of what it could look like. But I want to have the Wayne Tower in the centre of that area there. So it's almost like the focal point of that part of Gotham City. We are still going to have, obviously, the waterfront along here. So I'm going to be moving the statue back down to the far end there. And the bridge, I think I'm going to tuck in a little bit here. So there's going to be more of the bridge overhanging on this side here. But at least I won't have to rebuild that structure there or move it. I think that's going to work out absolutely fine. So anyway, let's clear that area down there. Bring the work out where I'm going to put the buildings. And then once I've done so, I can then start putting the roads down again. Once I do the roads, a lot of these bricks get used up. So it's not, it won't look as bad as it is at the moment. But I'm hoping by the end of today, we're going to have something that starts resembling a city once again. And although it's still a complete mess, I do feel like I'm starting to get somewhere now. I've decided that I'm going to have 3 blocks along this section just here. So we've got the first one here, which isn't a massively long one. We're going to have the Statue of Liberty, or the Statue of Justice, on the end here. And then we're going to have the opportunity to put some buildings along here as well. They won't be very tall. Or the other option is I may very well have it that the raised train line goes over the pavement area there. That might look a little bit better, keep it away from the buildings so that you can see the buildings easier. So that's just something that I'm considering at the moment. With the raised road here that goes up to the next level, it's over here now. I'm going to push that back a little bit more if I can. Then there's another road which comes out across that section there. So we're going to have a crossroads on that part. Then, as mentioned before, we're going to have the third block just here, and then we have the bridge going over to the raised platform. So yeah, it's nice to start getting the layout put down. With the roads, I can just lay those back into any of the slots here. Obviously, the road markings won't be as they're finally going to be, but again, this is something we can work on further down the line. But I am starting to get a better visual of how I want the city to look. Before, everything felt just a little bit disjointed, and now I feel like there is the options for me to get it looking exactly how I want. And I am considering up on this section here where Ace Chemicals is just resting at the moment, I may have room for a hospital up there now. So I feel like I've taken a lot away from the city space wise by having Arkham Island there, because there's a lot more sea area now covered. We're using 6 grey base plates for that area. However, it's when I just look at it and I'm sort of like imagining things, I feel like there are more spaces around, and it's probably down to this area here. There was a lot of wasted space before, like you had the ramp coming down and the way the roads were laid out, whereas with the ramp being tucked in this section here, which was just empty before, that's obviously freed up a lot of room. So fingers crossed this is going to turn out how I want it to do so. But anyway, let's carry on making some inroads into the mess here, and hopefully we can get this sorted relatively quickly. And the chaos is starting to feel a lot more organised now. And although this has probably been 3 of the most stressful days since I've moved into this Lego room, I'm glad I still went ahead with it. I know that sounds really crazy considering what the city looked like at the beginning of this video compared with how it's looking now. I do think that the short-term pain is definitely going to be for long-term gain. And just by placing these buildings here, I can see the benefits from doing this. So hopefully you all agree eventually. It's going to be a lot of progress in the next sort of like week or two. Hence, I will be putting out videos every 2 or 3 days, as I think there's going to be a lot of progress made each time. So the situation at the moment we've got the 3 blocks here in the centre. Now I am going to amend this tomorrow, and the reason being is I feel like I can bring this over the road, that is, by around about 8 more studs, maybe 10 or 12. And that's just going to give me that much more room to put buildings in the centre here. Now, I don't need any more room for the Old Wayne Tower there. I want that to be by itself, so I don't want any buildings sort of like behind it. I want to have that so it's standing by itself there. But with the Monarch Theatre, for example, it would be nice to have another building behind it. And at the moment, there's only about, once you put the pavement in, about 12 studs. So if I can increase that to, say, 24, that would be great. Now, at the moment, we've got quite a large area here, as I was going to run the train line above it, above the pavement. However, again, it doesn't need to be that wide. And the water, I can shrink that by, say, 4 studs as well. So I think I can quite easily move that over and not lose anything on there, but I can gain a lot in the centre. As at the moment, these sections here are pretty much the same width as what they were previously, which I didn't think was quite wide enough. I want to be able to have 2 sets of buildings on each block, or 2 row of buildings there and a row of buildings there with an alleyway between, so you can sort of see through a little bit. So yeah, we're just going to hopefully be able to make those amendments tomorrow, and then it will be job done. But I think that the biggest improvement is having the road, or the ramp here, sorry, that goes up to the raised platform. As mentioned before, it's freeing up so much space down here, so that's definitely the right way forward. Now, as we come down here, the submarine pen for the penguin and the iceberg lounge, that is going to need to have a lot of work doing to it. It's just resting there at the moment. And what I need to do is peel this bridge off this base plate here, slide those 2 up to the front here, and then place that on there. I think that's going to be the easiest way rather than peel off all of those plates. So there's a bit of work there. But this is the biggest frustration, the docks area here. I've done so much work on this over the last 3 days, and it's all been for nothing. So that is highly frustrating, but, you know, these things happen. We live and learn. But this is the exciting part, which is the Arkham Asylum and Arkham Island. This is on 6 grey base plates, and I am going to make this modular. So in the future, once this is all built, I will be able to take this to conventions, which I'm really excited to do. I think it's going to be great to be able to show that off. And using the Like My Bricks lights that I've got, where you've got the connector boards rather than have to plug everything in, it's going to mean I can get lights through the entire island and not have to worry about the fact that it's modular. So that's really positive on that side as well. Over the back here, we need to build a raised platform area. It's not going to be the same height as this. It's probably going to be about 1/3 of the height of it. And on here, we're going to have the Joker's Funhouse and Ace Chemicals, as I mentioned before. So again, that's all going to be good. And I do think we're going to have enough room up the top there for a hospital. So yeah, there we have it. What a complete mess. And this has been very, very stressful. And even now I look at it, I think, oh, what have I done? But I know that it's not going to take a massive amount to get this looking back to how it was at the beginning of the video. The level of progress we've made within the city. And I do honestly, hand on heart, feel that it was the right decision to try it. If you don't try these things, you're never going to know. I wasn't happy with how certain aspects of the city were going, and I'm a lot happier with the potential now that this has got. So yeah, it's going to be exciting few days now, just trying to get this all looking as good as possible. Anyway, that's all we have time for. I hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham City in Lego, if you could share the channel, then it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for walking on by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.